Hello everyone, it's Churchill here, head teacher of Churchill Academy Sixth Form, with a weekly update from lockdown here at Churchill. This is the video version of the head teacher's letter of Friday the 22nd of January 2021. Staff at the Academy continue to report to me how pleased they are with the engagement, participation, resilience and resourcefulness of our students, those learning remotely and those in school with us. I even had positive feedback from a member of the local community who met one of our students out walking his dog for his daily exercise, and they were so impressed with his politeness and maturity that they wrote to tell us about it. Our young people are a credit to the Academy and to their families. When will schools reopen? Well, the simple answer is we don't know. What we do know is that the Health Secretary has laid out 4 conditions that need to be passed before schools can reopen. They are: number 1, there must be no major new virus that's vaccine resistant. Number 2, the vaccine rollout must be proceeding effectively. Number 3, the COVID death rate must drop. And number 4, the pressure on the NHS must reduce. The Chief Medical Officer, in evidence to the Education Select Committee this week, suggested that school reopenings might be phased or staged across regions of the country, linked to COVID rates and the tiering system. However, the Education Secretary would not put a date on school reopenings yesterday, although he did promise a 2-week notice period, and I quote, "so teachers can get ready, children can prepare, and parents can get ready." Well, that would be nice, wouldn't it? We all want our students back in school when it is safe for them to return. We will provide any information that we have about school reopenings to you as soon as we have it. In the meantime, we will continue to put everything we have into our remote learning offer and to keeping our frontline provision open and safe. On that note, I should add that our frontline provision has limited capacity, which has been reached in several year groups. Even if you are eligible for a place, you are not entitled to one. We must risk assess each application in line with the safe capacity of each year group bubble, and we can only admit students where it is safe to do so. All inquiries about places must be directed to frontline@churchill-academy.org. Please do not send your children into school unless you have a place confirmed. On exams, last Friday, the exams regulator Ofqual published its proposals for the system to replace exams this summer. I wrote to students and families in Year 11 and Year 13 on Monday with details of these proposals, and you can read that letter on the Academy website. The proposals suggest that teacher assessments could be based on exam board papers which candidates would sit towards the end of May and beginning of June this year. We believe the proposals give a workable solution to the issue of qualifications for this summer, but there are still many unanswered questions. These cannot be resolved until the consultation is concluded and the final arrangements are published. Even then, we're likely to be waiting some time before the exam boards are able to provide us with the information specific to each of the courses that our students are following. We know that this leaves our exam candidates in limbo, and we sympathise with them. However, it is important that the system used to award qualifications this summer is thought through as carefully as possible. As we have learnt over this past year, when things are rushed, they're usually flawed. Our advice to our exam year students remains: carry on participating fully in remote learning, and we're so impressed with the way you've been doing that so far. Complete all your courses, including any coursework, as far as you can. Continue to revise the full course content that you've covered, as anything could be assessed. And complete all work set to the highest standard you can. Finally, look after yourselves and try not to worry. Everyone else in your year across the country is in exactly the same boat, and schools, including Churchill, will do all we can to make sure that you get the grades you deserve based on the evidence that we have. On coronavirus testing, as detailed in this week's Head Teacher's blog, we have got testing up and running for all those students and staff currently attending the Academy site. So far, of the over 200 tests carried out, all were negative. Staff attending the Academy site will now be offered a test twice weekly for additional reassurance. We were pleased that the government announced a pause to the proposed daily contact testing element of the programme this week. Under this element, it was proposed that any contacts of a confirmed case of COVID-19 would be offered a daily test as an alternative to self-isolation, so they could continue to attend school. and public health advice is that this policy is too risky, so we had already ruled it out. Until medical advice says differently, we will continue to use self-isolation for any contacts of confirmed cases of COVID-19 within the Academy. Helping those in need. We've been overwhelmed by families getting in touch to offer help via the Academy to any families who are in need as a result of the coronavirus pandemic. This generosity of spirit is characteristic of our Academy community. We have continued to supply brand new government-funded laptops to families with no means of accessing remote learning, and tutors have continued to provide feedback on this through the weekly check-ins. For 4 years, we've been running a fair share scheme to provide food parcels to families who need them, and this has continued through the pandemic. Please see our article in the weekly e-newsletter if you think you may be able to help with this scheme. In conclusion, we are still facing grave challenges through this pandemic period of history, but I was inspired on Wednesday by the messages of hope and positivity laid out at the inauguration of President Biden in Washington, D.C. Whatever your politics, the inauguration suggested that we are stronger together, and in unity we will be able to overcome our challenges. I found that sentiment very moving and very appropriate to our situation on this side of the Atlantic. I thought it was best summed up by the remarkable poem from 22-year-old Amanda Gorman, who said, "Much better than I can." So, while once we asked how could we possibly prevail over catastrophe, now we assert, how could catastrophe possibly prevail over us? When day comes, we step out of the shade, aflame and unafraid. The new dawn blooms as we free it, for there is always light, if only we're brave enough to see it, if only we're brave enough to be it. As ever, it's our young people that give us hope. There is always light, and with courage we will prevail. Stay safe, everyone, and I will see you next week for another weekly update. Thanks a lot.